It's considered to be the earliest high culture of Central America. Yesterday they were here, but today they are nowhere to be found. The Incas are one of the most fascinating civilizations, captivating scientists and historians for decades. Even centuries after their empire collapsed, we continue to uncover incredible facts about this mysterious civilization. In a groundbreaking archaeological discovery, scientists have found a remarkable sacred structure in Machu Picchu, the famous royal estate of the Incas. Even more astonishing is that this mega-structure predates the Incas themselves, raising many questions for the global scientific community. What is this prehistoric structure inside Machu Picchu that has captured the attention of archaeologists? How did the Incas build their renowned royal fortress, and are there other amazing structures within the city? Join us as we explore these questions in today's video. Scientists have discovered a prehistoric megastructure in Machu Picchu that seems beyond the capabilities of ancient man. Our planet is filled with many secrets buried deep in history. Scientists and archaeologists dedicate their lives to uncovering these secrets, shedding light on forgotten details of human history, and making us re-evaluate the civilizations that once existed on Earth. For decades, scientists have been uncovering lost cities we knew little about, piecing together the threads of history that had been lost. It's been a challenging task, as archaeologists perform numerous excavations to piece together the puzzles left behind by these long-lost civilizations, giving us a clearer picture of their lives. One lost city that has captivated scientists for a long time is Machu Picchu, a city known for its architectural brilliance, engineering marvels, and rich culture. The global scientific community has been fascinated with Machu Picchu ever since Hiram Bingham discovered it in 1911. Nestled in the eastern Cordillera of southern Peru on a mountainous ridge, Machu Picchu is an impressive estate that stands as a relic of the Inca civilization, bearing witness to the thousands of lives that existed long before anyone alive today. Dubbed the Lost City of the Incas, Machu Picchu sits at an elevation of 2,430 meters in the Machu Picchu district within Urubamba province, above the Sacred Valley. This 15th-century architectural masterpiece is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is regarded as the epitome of excellent urban planning and design. Machu Picchu is a testament to the Incas' love for polished drystone structures and features three primary structures: the Temple of the Sun, the Temple of the Three Windows, and the Intihuatana. Since its discovery, countless archaeologists have explored Machu Picchu, investigating its ruins to reconstruct the untold stories of the historic Incas who once lived there. Over the years, there have been slightly differing conclusions about this Inca city. Initially, Machu Picchu was believed to have been built. In the 1450s, it was believed that Machu Picchu was built then, until Richard Berger, a professor of anthropology, found more evidence. In a 2021 study led by Berger, scientists used radiocarbon dating to discover that Machu Picchu was likely occupied from around 1420 to 1530 AD. Further investigation showed that the construction of Machu Picchu happened during the reigns of two great Inca rulers, Pachacuti Inca Yupanqui, 1438 to 1471, and his successor Tupac Inca Yupanqui, 1472 to 1493. Archaeologists found evidence suggesting that Pachacuti commissioned Machu Picchu as a royal estate for vacation after a successful military campaign. Despite being a royal estate, Machu Picchu wasn't passed down through the line of succession. It was occupied for nearly a century before being abandoned. Historians believe that the Spanish conquest in other parts of the Inca Empire likely caused its abandonment. The city's residents probably fled upon hearing news of the Spanish assault. Some archaeologists think many inhabitants died from smallpox introduced by travelers before the Spanish arrived. The exact reason for Machu Picchu's abandonment remains unclear, which is why archaeologists continue to study it, hoping to turn speculations into evidence-based facts. Thanks to their relentless efforts, we know that about 750 people lived in Machu Picchu before it was abandoned. Most of these occupants were support staff for the royal family, living there permanently. The city also housed religious specialists and temporary workers. During harsher seasons, the population dropped to around 100 servants and a few religious specialists focused on maintenance work. Skeletal remains showed that many residents were immigrants from various backgrounds, as indicated by the lack of chemical and osteological markers typical of lifelong residents. Scientists were surprised to find bone damage from water parasites native to different areas of Peru, indicating that these immigrants came from coastal regions seeking better opportunities. Animals also migrated to Machu Picchu. Archaeologists found bones of llamas and alpacas, animals whose natural habitat is at higher altitudes of 4,000 meters, compared to Machu Picchu's 2,400 meters. These animals were likely brought from the Puna region for their meat and pelts. Guinea pigs, found in special tombs, were used for rituals and sacrifices, a common practice in the Inca Empire. The highlight of these discoveries was the finding of 6 dogs buried among human remains, suggesting they were companions of the deceased. Machu Picchu residents enjoyed breathtaking scenery, nestled between the mountains of Machu Picchu and Huayna Picchu. The city's prime location provided a commanding view of 2 valleys and an impressive mountain. It also ensured a steady supply of water from springs that were almost impossible to block. Machu Picchu had 2 high-altitude routes connecting it to Cusco, through the Sun Gate and the Inca Bridge. These routes could be easily blocked to protect the city from invaders. Another intriguing discovery is that Machu Picchu, like other sites in the area, was built over geological faults. A 2019 study suggested this was because these locations provided readily available building materials. The fractured rocks were used for construction, and the location also offered better drainage. The city is divided into 2 parts, the urban sector and the agricultural sector, or Upper Town and Lower Town. Temples were located in the Upper Town, while storage houses for agricultural produce were in the Lower Town. The engineering marvels of Machu Picchu are evident in its terraces, used for farming. These terraces were built in layers, with larger stones at the bottom, covered by gravel, mixed sand, and rich topsoil, probably moved from the valley floor. These terraces ensured good drainage and soil fertility while protecting the mountain from erosion and landslides. The city's engineers and planners designed these structures to provide food for the inhabitants and protect the environment. Despite their best efforts, the Incas didn't create perfect terraces at Machu Picchu. Archaeologists found evidence of landslides during its construction. If you visit the site, you can see where the terraces were shifted by landslides and then stabilized by the Incas. The terraces overlooking the Urubamba River and various springs were crucial. They provided fresh water for crop production and supported over 1,000 households. However, terrace farming at Machu Picchu covered only about 12 acres, growing mostly corn and potatoes, which wasn't enough to feed the 750 residents. Much of the food was imported from surrounding valleys. The area received about 1,800 millimeters of rain per year, more than enough for crop growth. The heavy rainfall meant that irrigation wasn't a major concern, but the terraces had efficient drainage systems to handle excess water. Machu Picchu's architecture blends seamlessly with the mountains. About 200 buildings are arranged on wide terraces around a central square. The city's compounds, known as canchas, are designed to be long and narrow, maximizing the terrain. The eastern section of the city was residential, while the western side, separated by the square, was used for religious and ceremonial purposes. Here, you'll find the Torreon, a massive tower used as an observatory by the city's astronomers and religious specialists. The residential district housed lower-class people and contained storage buildings and simple homes. In contrast, the royalty area had rows of houses on a slope. The residences of the remotas, wise people, had reddish walls, while the zone of the nustas, princesses, featured trapezoid-shaped rooms. The guardhouse, a 3-sided building, opened onto the terrace of the ceremonial rock. The Huerona style of architecture, seen in the guardhouse, is known for its 3-sided design. One of the most fascinating structures is the Intihuatana, a carved statue used for rites and sacrifices. Archaeologists have found evidence of human sacrifices at Machu Picchu, where remains were often left to the elements. More common were sacrifices of animals, liquids, and other offerings to the gods. The city's central buildings were constructed using the classical Inca architectural style of polished dry stone walls. They used a technique called ashlar, where blocks of stone were cut to fit tightly without mortar. Built on fault lines, Machu Picchu's structures were stabilized using local materials. Stones were mined from nearby quarries, then shaped and fitted perfectly. The Inca walls were designed with stabilizing features. Doors and windows were trapezoidal, narrowing from top to bottom, with rounded corners. The heavy rainfall meant the site was prone to landslides and flooding, but the terraces were layered with stone chips, sand, dirt, and topsoil to absorb water and prevent erosion. Machu Picchu's masonry is stunning, rivaling historic sites like the Lighthouse of Alexandria and the Temple of Artemis. Tourists are amazed at how tightly the stone blocks fit together, often wondering how the Incas achieved this without iron tools or pulleys. Anthropologist Fernando Estete explained that the Incas used hematite, a heavy iron-rich rock, to cut and shape the stones. This natural hammer allowed them to build with great precision and patience. One of the most intriguing discoveries is that many buildings in Machu Picchu align with the movement of the sun, suggesting a religious significance. The Intihuatana stone, for example, casts no shadow at noon on the equinox, indicating the Incas' understanding of solar movements. The Inca chose this mountainous location for its connection to the sun, their most important deity. Despite being shrouded in clouds, Machu Picchu site was sacred long before the Incas arrived. Faded artwork on a rocky outcrop revealed that it was a shrine predating the Inca civilization. This discovery suggests that Machu Picchu was built because it was already a sacred site with an ancient connection to the gods. The Incas were masters at utilizing nature's offerings, building an empire that might have thrived if not for the Spanish conquest. As archaeologists continue their work, we can expect more fascinating discoveries about this incredible civilization. Keep watching Scientific Thoughts for interesting episodes.